chasing all of the rain away. When you come around, you bring brighter days. You're the perfect one for me, and you forever will be, and I will love you so for always. Ooh, you're like the sun, chasing all of the rain away. When you come around, you bring brighter days. You're the perfect one for me, and you forever will be, and I will love you so for always.
Five, four, three, two, one. We have ignition. Strap in. You're about to listen to the hottest sounds. It's the hottest mixtape in the world, and you've got it.
Welcome to the 1873 Nerd Galaxy.
The whole music, the whole atmosphere.
You have to experience it to believe it.
It's just epic.
Activate your brain.
Американская фирма Transceptor Technology.
Status activated.
Affirmative.
Be ready to be stimulated.
Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Counting down the songs you love most.
I love this song, now I'm gonna play it.
Find me the right selection.
Are you guys ready? 1873 FM.
Hey!
Follow us Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and more.
Facebook. Get down.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
You know everybody wanna be famous. Wanna be. It feels good.
Add us to your network.
Don't stop. Don't break it.
Drive time. Plug in and turn it up. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
You know everybody wanna be famous. Wanna be. It feels good.
Add us to your network.
Hit music. Gonna get it.
King, the Mix King, Ron G. Now look what you made me do. Mix King. Look what you made me do. You can't touch me. Look what you made me do.
The afternoon drive, Monday to Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Central African Time.
The drive to come here, seek opportunity.
The drive, the afternoon drive. Yes.
Four, three, two, one. We have ignition. Strap in. You're about to listen to the hottest sounds. It's the hottest mixtape in the world, and you've got it.
Don't stop. Don't break it.
right, 5 minutes gone after 5 on a Monday. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Drive's Innovation Conversations with my favorite, Chomi, Matshego.
Matshego, babes of technology.
I
literally pushed that one in. I remember he didn't want this name, guys, but I think we're going for it. Let me know what you think. Matshego, babes with technology.
So
yes,
we've got the babes what Dumo. We've got babes what Dumo.
So you're like the bae.
I'm the bae.
Hey,
I'm the bae of technology, honey.
You know what my bae is?
That sounds.
I always say my bae is like business and entrepreneurship. I'm all about entrepreneurship.
John taking over already. John taking over already.
Like God.
BAE is
business and entrepreneurship. That's what I'm all about.
That's what it is. Eh?
That's it.
There we go.
Right.
There we go.
The mics are off so that we can do this thing.
Switch my mics. That is so rude. Okay, fine.
All right, it's Innovation Conversations on a Monday. Thank you so much for hanging out with the Drive crew. All right, and Matshego, pretty excited today. Are you?
Is my mic on?
Let me check. Yeah.
Thank you. That's how it puts us in check. Yes,
Yeah.
we're very excited today.
Like-
We've got a special guest on the show. Extremely excited about it. Should I get into it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So today we've got Mr. John Lombela. Lombela?
That's right.
Yes, who's our guest. And John is founder of Innovex and CryptoVex. He's an entrepreneur as well as blockchain and crypto advocate. That's part of the show.
Oh, okay.
So
Awesome stuff.
should I continue
Yeah.
with whatever else?
Yeah,
Am
whatever.
I allowed to? Because I
Other
know-
business of the day.
Other business of the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to be looking at the headlines of what we had over the week or over the weekend, some of the stuff that we didn't go into on Friday, as well as our techpreneur of the day,
Right.
as well as courses you can do that can improve your digitization
Digitization.
or technological situations.
All right. Sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of information coming up. And thank you so much for hanging out, like I said, with the Drive. Those on social media, don't forget to follow us. We'll follow you back.
Awesome.
We are on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram. The handle is at the 1873 FM. Studio number 011-568-4272 or 4270. I always forget the second number. WhatsApp number.
I always say you actually don't know it. I always say you are reading it somewhere, but you are looking right at me, so I
Yeah.
believe that you actually know it by heart.
Studio WhatsApp number.
I'm so impressed.
082-649-2451.
Awesome.
You can double check there.
No, it's fine. I believe you.
If you're outside the
believe
country,
you.
prefix that with a +27. Let's get the conversations going. And I would like to hear from you, especially on the conversations that will be taking place this afternoon.
Aneno nyako moro kae nyinge ng'a? Atoti. To bende onyalo mielo ngoma nyinge ng'a? Atoti. To be onyalo miel koda nyinge ng'a? Atoti. Atoti sudi kai mondi miel koda? Yawa Atoti sudi kai monda miel kodi. Atoti lovely deadly nyakoni. Iromo wiya. Atoti kiss me nyakoni. Iromo miel ko. Atoti mix me fix me nyakoni. Iromo pacha. Atoti take me nyakoni. Iromo miel ko. Sudi miel koda. Kiki tumu wei. Kiki tuom chonga. Kika nyonteni. Omia watere mana mos mdogo mdogo. Nyako miel vile tunataka raka piny malo yiengoga atoti nyonoga mosurundoga atoti yengoga mosuwinyoga nango atoti wekoga moseteroga this way that way nyako do it my way atoti ango matimi atoti thumweri to wikimosh bende mari to maji bende dwari natoti dinde kilari nikech ma en miel mar atoti nango atoti nyonoga atoti yengoga atoti rundoga atoti winyoga atoti takane kimielo kino yawa takane kimielo kino pinye malo kakitinge mbele nyuma kakisude kando bate kakigwete this way that way kakitere kakitinye itinye kakisude isude kakigwete kakitere very good atoti yo the only face in Lake Victoria
2006, 2007, Atoti with Gidi Gidi Maji. If you're not in the club scene back then, you missed out. Right.
that?
2006.
Who
2000.
were you in the club scene in
Oh yeah.
2006?
I'm ancient. I'm a vintage.
Yes, you
I
are.
don't even know where this guy is from. Who is it again? Who's
It's
singing?
called the Atoti.
Where are they from?
They are from should be Ghana if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good beat, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Nice one.
It's a
Eh?
nice song.
We'll have to Shazam that.
All right.
Over to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also like to welcome Princess into the show. Like, I feel like you sidelined her the entire time.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mic was off. Say that again. Yeah. Choc what?
No.
Okay.
Princess is joining us. She's the voice of reason in this group. Like I said, we've got Mr. John Lombela as part of the conversation today. He's a visionary entrepreneur and experienced senior software developer. This is what is written on his LinkedIn, but let's find out from him. Who is John Lombela?
Thank you very much indeed. Just that, an entrepreneur. Really, pretty much.
How did you get
a lot
into
of people ask me, who am I? And I like to describe myself as just one word, entrepreneur. But behind this entrepreneur lies so many other attributes. First of all, I graduated here in software development several years ago and launched my first company. I was very young at that time, I think 26.
Really?
In 2007, but formalized the whole thing in 2008.
So in
And,
2007, you were 26. Are you doing the math?
Oh, don't do the math on my age, actually.
In your whole big age now.
But so along the way, I think for the first 4 years as an entrepreneur, I loved doing one thing, and that was coding, and providing solutions for my clients. And I remember my first slogan was delivering IT quality solutions. Why? When I worked for a few companies back in the days, I realized there was one thing that was missing from a South African perspective in terms of the skills, first of all, but also the quality of what these guys were delivering. So I remember getting my friends and I say, hey, dude, you know what? We got to get on our own and start doing these things for ourselves. And he actually bought into my idea. I said, you know what, you're quite right. So we need to be able to provide a platform that would offer solutions to our clients, and be it small, medium, and large organization. That was exactly the ethos of our company. JIB Solutions was the name of the company. J for John, R for Rudy, and B for Belinda.
Okay.
So they still are my friends today, although we parted ways, and every single person is doing their own thing. They're quite successful individually in what they're doing. So 4 years later, I get hit by the financial doomsday of 2008. Not immediately, but indirectly.
Okay.
There was some kind of a ripple effect. Okay, so I had to let all my guys go and rebranded, and had to go back in strategies and figure out exactly what it is that I wanted to do. So I remember at that time coming back from London on a trip, thinking that as I could land back, I was going to sign another deal I was actually planning. Very lucrative deal, but unfortunately that didn't go down well. And I was given an opportunity by Standard Bank to be working with them as a consultant. So for about 2 years, I sort of joined the bank, but still at that time, my company was still running. So what I did was I rebranded from GIB Solutions, because I had an emotional attachment to the name, but also I felt kind of betrayed by the people I was actually working with. And I came up with the name Innovex. So Innovex standing for Innovative Expert Consultant. That's exactly what it stands for.
Okay.
The reason for that was I decided to no longer hire, younger students coming straight from varsity, because I trained a lot of them from MGI, from UJ, from I think Verse as well, who worked for me back in the days. But I decided, you know what, let me change the model. Let me actually go and work with experts who are really, really good at what they're doing. Okay, and the idea being, I will pay them exactly, what their hours work are in my project. I don't have to hire them full time, simply because I don't want the burden associated with having to pay salaries and whatnot, which I did for 4 years back in the days. I wanted to focus entirely on the solutions deliverables for our clients.
Okay.
And these guys will bring in the expertise and will deliver the solutions, and that's it. We'll part ways. But also, my model would be to have like a retainer, whereby I know somebody, if I really need somebody, for example, right now, we manage about over 13 servers, and I need a permanent, not really on a permanent basis, but I need somebody who has the expertise to manage servers. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So this guy can work for me on a retainer basis. So we build the entire solution, and he manages the environment, and all I do is pay him on a monthly retainer. So I came up with that particular concept and say, you know what, I don't want to hire people full time anymore, but I still want to provide a platform that would allow people to still feel like, hey, you know what, they can be creative within Innovex, do whatever they want to do, as long as it flows or it falls in line with my ethos and the interest of the business and the vision that I have as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And these guys come in, they do whatever they want to do, and we work together, and I remunerate them. That's it. So all I have to do is find a way to bring in new business. So all of that has happened in my journey as an IT or tech entrepreneur, right? But essentially, my journey within the Standard Bank Group has taught me so many good things, and I fell in love with the world of finance, but predominantly what I like to call the alternative finance, and stuff that your typical banker wouldn't necessarily know, stuff that they don't really.
It has to be an IT person.
Not necessarily an IT person, but you got to be driven in finding all this information.
Okay.
And particularly those who are looking to raise capital for the project are the guys who certainly will be able to land this kind of knowledge. Because think about it, there are so many entrepreneurs in South Africa who are looking to raise capital.
Of course.
That's one.
That's
but
one
also,
of the biggest issues.
Absolutely. It's a huge issue. But also they're looking for ways to have the government assist them with subsidies or whatever, or grants and all that kind of stuff. So the mentality in South Africa is very different than that of a Nigerian or a Ghanaian or a Kenyan or even a Congolese guy. I'm actually Congolese, right? So the way we approach business is very different. We're so driven that we don't wait for government subsidies or any other person to actually come in. We work by creating opportunities around us. So we have different ways. Hopefully, I will be able to share that with you guys here. That we are able to raise funding. So that led me into the world of finance, and I really learned a lot in my journey. I remember in 2013 and 14 and 15, 16, actually even, I learned so much that I became kind of a go-to guy. Having created a huge network around the world where people would sort of come to me and ask me for advice in terms of what it is they can actually do. Up until today, people come in and say, you know what, John, we have so-and-so project. We're looking to raise money. And oftentimes it will be in millions of dollars, okay? So we kind of come up with different strategies for us to be able to raise capital.
Okay.
But
without actually getting out of that train of thought. So the raising of capital, is it only for finance or is it for all industries?
All industries, not necessarily for finance. I mean, any industry is looking for money.
Yes,
right?
of course. I mean, since you were specifying that your love went to the finance industry.
Right.
So I just wanted to double check that.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that a bit later. Now you are a Bitcoin and crypto advocate, an enthusiast for years. These are quite, would say new terms. And when I went to check when I wanted to understand the industry a bit, it says on Google, Bitcoin is a digital and global money system currency.
Right.
It allows people to send or receive money across the internet, even to someone they don't know or don't trust. Money can be exchanged without being linked to a real identity. The mathematical field of cryptography is the basis of Bitcoin's security.
That's correct.
Doesn't sound too secure to me.
Why not?
Because you get into that because you don't trust someone, and still this person that you're trading with doesn't have an identity, so to say.
Okay, first of all, you need to understand the premise upon which Bitcoin was created in the first place. I think a lot of people misunderstand that concept. Today when we talk about Bitcoin, a lot of people associate Bitcoin with the ability of making money.
Yes, naturally.
Okay.
Yes.
And by the way, if you go on Google Trends and you kind of search for the statistics about, on the keyword Bitcoin, a couple of years ago, South Africa was topping the list as the first country in the world where the keyword Bitcoin is the most searched.
Okay.
But that changed. Yeah. That
Why,
changed.
why was that?
I'm going to come to that just
Okay.
now.
Okay.
But that changed and Nigeria took the lead.
All right.
Okay, as
Makes
the
sense.
first country in the world whereby the keyword Bitcoin is the most searched.
Okay.
And the keyword cryptocurrency is the most searched not in these two countries, but is the most searched in, I think it is actually Venezuela.
Oh.
And the keyword blockchain is the most searched in the US. Now, you wonder why. A lot of people have associated the word Bitcoin with the ability of making money. We've all heard the story of these guys who invested $1 or $10 in Bitcoin in 2010 and became a multi-millionaire in 2017 and 16 and so forth. Those are the stories that have actually led people to start searching for the keyword Bitcoin.
Oh,
Now,
yes,
when it comes to South Africa, you know that South Africa is big. There's a parallel market in network marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Right? Now, South Africa is huge when it comes to network marketing. There's a lot of activities, whether it's Bitcoin or what's that other product? Forever Living
Forever
product,
Living.
or even Herbalife.
Herbalife. Yeah.
Okay, Herbalife. All right.
Green World.
Exactly. So South Africa is a big country, one of the biggest country in the world, in Africa as well, particularly for network marketing.
I
Now,
see.
here's the thing. There used to be a platform called Triple M.
You remember Triple M?
Right.
I remember Triple M quite
So
well.
I remember the first time, yes. The first, and I'm going to come back to, I'm just laying the foundation. I will still answer your question right now.
Okay.
So the first time I came to understand or to hear about the word Triple M, I think it was in August 2014. So somebody came to me and said, hey, you know what, John? There's this platform called Triple M, and all it does is, you put some money, and within, I don't know, a few days, you get so much. Look, that was for me the first time I started getting introduced to the whole world of network marketing.
Okay.
I had no cooking, and besides, I wasn't really interested about the whole Triple M business. All right.
Okay.
So this dude who actually presented to me the whole initiative, the whole concept, I never really went ahead with that. But apparently, because Triple M got shut down by government, not only in South Africa, but in many other countries, Nigeria, Kenya, you name it, right? They got shut down because of, regulations and whatnot. So what they did was, because that thing was so successful for a lot of people, Triple M wanted to find a different way to introduce a payment mechanism that would not be restricted by government. And at that time, Bitcoin was 4 years old. So what they did was, actually 4 or 5 years old. So what they did was, they incorporated the notion of Bitcoin into the whole Triple M business.
I see.
So you could actually bypass regulations, all right, and still pay in Bitcoin because of the nature of Bitcoin. Anonymity, where it sort of preserves your identity. You don't have to reveal your identity, but at the same time, you can actually go on and earn Bitcoin or pay in Bitcoin and so forth. But also the notion of Bitcoin rising in value as a store of value will give you an incentive in the future of someone who can actually build so much wealth. All right. So that's the one thing I remember. Triple M, a network marketing solution. A lot of South African people flocking into it. Why? People are looking for ways to make money in this country.
Fast ways to make money.
And faster ways. And Triple M was one of the ways. In fact, Triple M made a lot of people money. But at the same time,
a lot of people
lose money.
lost money.
So obviously, people who build the network and the whole thing, continued to make use of it and started to promote the whole notion of Bitcoin without necessarily understanding what Bitcoin is all about.
Okay.
Before
So they got
Bitcoin-
into it before they actually
Exactly.
had a name for it.
Now, before Bitcoin can be considered as money or as digital currency, First of all, it is a technological breakthrough. Why? Bitcoin was born, and I'm talking about the technology,
Okay.
not money. Bitcoin was born on the premise of the collapse of the economy in 2008, whereby government institutions and everybody lost faith in centralized organizations. We saw the US collapsing, we saw the economy collapsing, we saw the recession, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what happened. And people stopped trusting
The system.
the system.
True.
They stopped trusting banks, they stopped trusting government. Imagine having your, I have a friend in Belgium, right? So this guy invested money in Yahoo stocks. And I remember this day, on the day of the collapse, unfortunately, I think he was writing an exam. His investment manager called him several times on that particular day. The value of his portfolio went from 6,000 euro to over 60,000 euro in a few days, in a few years, probably about a couple of years. But on that day, this dude is calling him every single time, like every minute, hoping that he will cash on the phone and say, you know what, can I please sell your stocks?
And you can't do it without his permission.
And exactly. And he came back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yo.
What happened? The stock market crashed. The value of his portfolio went down below 6,000 in a matter of hours.
Shame.
So he's one of the guys who actually fell into the mist, but at the same time, a lot of people who understand the capital market made a lot of gains. Because of that thing that happened, that transpired, a lot of people stopped trusting banks.
Of course.
At the same time, this individual or group of individuals by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto came up with the concept of Bitcoin as a cash, not this, a cash electronic system, a peer-to-peer cash electronic system whereby I can send value to you or monetary value to you without having to go through a third party. That was the premise of Bitcoin. But now what happens, there's a certain aspect of the blockchain network, okay, is there to be able to promote transparency, anonymity, data integrity, security of the network, and many more. All right. So for that to be able to be handled successfully well, there is a group of guys we call the miners. You may have heard of the
Blockchain
keyword
miners.
of miners, the
Yes.
blockchain miners. Who are the blockchain miners? The blockchain miners are the guys who are simply maintaining the integrity of the network that they trust. That is not controlled by government, that is not controlled by a central authority, but all these guys independently are following a unique consensus. One upon which whereby if a transaction, let's say I send you 1,000 rand in monetary value in the form of Bitcoin. Okay, we both agree that Bitcoin has a value to us, and I'm going to demonstrate a few things to you just now. Okay, if we both agree that Bitcoin has value, and I send you 1,000 rand worth of Bitcoin to you, the idea is, how does anyone legitimize that transaction? There's got to be a few people on the network
Yes, of course.
that respond to the consensus and say, okay, hang on a second, I have validated that transaction. Somebody else has validated that transaction as well. And a few people do, minimum about 6 people, miners, who will verify the veracity of the information set that represents that transaction being done on the network. And say, you know what, this is a valid transaction. And once it is verified, it is forever written on the blockchain. And that transaction is irreversible. As from the moment it is irreversible, everybody then trusts that information. Think about it. If you run your own company, you run your own books.
Yes.
There's this keyword or term known as doctoring the books, right?
Or cooking the books.
Or cooking the books. The
Yes.
reason why you would cook the books is because you want to be seen as good, and when you go to the banks, you want to get a loan for your house and whatnot. Guess what? You give the bank a false perspective of the true reality of your business.
Of your business,
True.
of course.
Now, between information that is true on the network versus information that you would cook, which one would you trust best? Which one is the real information? Of course, it is
The one
information that can never be
The
erased.
network, yeah, of course.
Because your books, you can cook them.
Of course. John, without actually cutting you off, we need to go on a break. We need to go on a break. Wildfire, am I allowed to? Thank you. Thank you very much.
This DJ just turns you on. Download our app on the Google Play Store and iOS. 1873 FM. To advertise with us, call our sales and marketing department on 011-5684-272. Terms and conditions apply.
Right, 7 minutes before the 6 p.m. on the 1873 FM. It's your drive time radio innovation conversations with Opewe Technology. Okay.
Yes, I love that you're catching it, friend. I absolutely love it.
Do you see what's scrolling on the video there? At the
Where?
bottom, what does it say?
On the video.
Bayward Technology, you see, you, man.
I'm legend.
You're a legend. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Back to you.
We're still having a conversation with John Lombela, a blockchain and crypto advocate, enthusiast, actually. I think you should just call yourself an enthusiast because you're so passionate about it.
I am indeed.
Yes, he was just giving us a brief history of money and blockchain. And we might actually not get as much as we can because we don't have enough time, but I would like to, but you can always catch John on his social media Maybe you can give us your handles.
Sure. I think it's very simple for me on all social media platforms. Very easy. John Lombella in one word. Whether it is Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or even YouTube. Or even TikTok as well. Jeez, I'm getting into the whole
Are you
TikTok
on
thing.
TikTok? Oh my gosh, no. Not so long ago we were talking about the dangers of TikTok.
Right.
So be careful. Be careful on that TikTok. You might just get
So
lured
John
into stuff.
Lombella, JohnLombela.
Yes, that's John.
Lombela. So,
So
those are
if
my
you-
handles.
If any more questions or anything that you'd like clarified from John, or if you would actually like to attend one of his masterclasses,
Yeah, absolutely.
you can get hold of him on his handles. So, John, you've been quoted as saying that blockchain technology could be the answer to Africa's woes. Tell us what blockchain is, and in fact, how can it change the South African economy for the better?
First of all, for me, in simple terms, in layman terms, blockchain is a single version of the truth.
Single version of the truth. Where have
That's
I
it.
heard that? Was that from you? I probably read an article.
I don't know.
That I've heard that.
Forget
Single
about technology.
version of
If
the
I ask
truth.
you today how the internet works, you will not explain to me.
I can't. I
But
don't
we
know.
all rely on the
On
internet.
it.
I mean, we're going live right now. With Googling and all that kind of stuff. Blockchain is the single version of the truth. It is a technology that allows us today, for the first time, to be able to rely on information without having to go into a third party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So normally, typically, third parties were there to be able to ratify information, to be able to say, you know what, okay, whatever two people say, that's the truth.
Okay, yes.
Right? So if you're going to court today, you've got a plaintiff, you got a defendant, you got somebody in between to actually say, okay, based on the information you guys have said, we do say that guy's information is the truth. Right? But here now we have technology, a piece of technology that allows us to be able to say, you know what, that's the version of the truth. If I
That's the
send
only
you,
version of the
and that's the only version, and the fact that a number of people would have verified that information and agreed to a consensus, because that information can only be the truth if it falls in line with the consensus. Now, everybody would agree a certain form of the consensus.
All right.
So the Bitcoin blockchain network has a certain consensus in the form of a bunch of algorithms, very complex, that say, you know what, once information has been verified, that's the version of the truth. And we can only live by that.
That's the final version of
And because it can never be erased, in
Yes.
fact, the never be erased is based on the fact that if you attempt to erase that information, just like many hackers are every single day trying to hack into the Bitcoin network, it will cost you tens of billions of dollars that it wouldn't be worth it.
Sure.
Therefore, what is known as the longest chain is therefore the truest version of the chain. And we can
Alright.
only rely on that. Okay? So why is this important? If we only think on the aspect of transparency only, look at government.
Yes. You
Look
actually
at
have
all-
been quoted as saying that
There's a
it can minimize corruption.
That's
Maybe
it. Look at
your
governments
answer
across
your
countries.
answer on the economy question also merge in the fact that it can minimize corruption in
That's
government.
it. Just before I was coming here, somebody called me from Cape Town. Okay, his name is Werner. I'm not going to mention the surname, but he reaches out to me and says, "Hey, John, you know what? Somebody shared information about you a few weeks ago. I really would like to talk to you about our blockchain solution and whatnot." Now, it's quite interesting, but I mean, what they're doing is, think about it this way: the enterprise supply development in South Africa is full of corruption. Now, imagine now a blockchain-based solution built to minimize corruption, foster transparency, and ensure prompt integration or services for that particular industry.
Okay.
That's exactly what a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
If imagine as well in my own country, let's say for example we get a donation of, I don't know, $50 million for a specific department. Now the question is, most of the people up until today they never know exactly how that money is being spent.
It's true.
Who is disbursing those funds for what project and this and that, whatever. And that's the reason why most of the donors would be like, you know what, we're tired of sending these guys money.
Because they misuse it.
They misuse it. But what if you have a platform that allows you to be able to ensure transparency?
Does
Verify
blockchain-
information all the time.
So blockchain does that.
Blockchain solves that problem.
So if it's that simple, I mean, are you having
From a
conversations
concept
with,
perspective,
from a
it is
concept
definitely
perspective?
simple.
Okay.
From an implementation perspective,
It's another story.
it's another story because
Okay.
it brings in a lot of political issues as well.
So would there be regulation issues?
The question is,
policy issues?
besides regulation, how many politicians would want to be clear on transactions
well,
in Africa?
Well,
But I mean, if we want to be able to progress and go forward positively,
African problem
then obviously,
though.
exactly, right?
Every state has its problem.
Every state.
Of course. Wildfire?
All right. My mic is off.
Oh, great! I love it when your mic is off and you're doing it to yourself. I have to do that.
I know it's
No conspiracy.
it's old edge. It's old edge, right? John,
Yeah.
when you look at yeah that
Yes and no.
Right.
But again, that's the nature of the media, right? You have the best of both sides. One to stimulate hype, and the other one to really educate.
Right.
But the reason why people will actually go on a hype is, think about it. If I tell you that Bitcoin allows me to make so much money, and I've made so much money on doing ABC, and I've become a millionaire at the age of 21. There are some books going on out there like that, and so essentially, from a media perspective, you would want to create hype. Whether that information is true or false, you would create hype.
Yeah.
Every single day, the media lives through hype. It doesn't matter the sector. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but from an education perspective, there are definitely great media outlets out there who are promoting education.
Right.
It is important for us to be able to. In fact, blockchain technology falls under the whole fourth industrial revolution. By the way.
Yeah. I mean, now we've got this wall for IR.
Yeah, exactly.
On there's
So
fears
which is a
and
wave
stuff,
today, right? So a lot of people are scared about, you know what, the whole 4R is going to take my job away, it's going to do this, and it's going to destroy that. No. In fact, something that technology advancement is only good for us if we understand best how to use it.
How to use it.
This is what I tell people.
Right.
If you are well educated about the 4R or about technology in general,
right,
you will learn how to either scale yourself up and create new opportunities for you to become so valuable on your job. I don't think that the 4R is there to cut. It will improve an existing thing, cutting down on those areas, but most importantly, it should stimulate you to create good opportunities for yourself. For example, I'll give you a stupid example, right? So let's say you are used to doing something over and over again at a job, but all of a sudden there is robotics out there that cuts that opportunity from you.
Right.
You can no longer work because the robot has replaced your job.
Yeah.
If you are well informed about technology and you skill yourself up, in fact, instead of looking for another job, how about you create new jobs? How about you create new opportunities? For example, you know better what that does, and you create a new stream of revenue. For example, either through education. You could be like, oh, you know what, I'm tired of working actually. Well, look, they took away my job, but I was able to learn so much from that, and so much from this new opportunity for me to create something else where I can employ people who can work for me, and I will then advise them on every aspect of the new technology. So people need to see these so-called attacks, or they need to transform their fears into opportunities.
Exactly.
I don't think that the 4IR is there to really threaten people. No, only those who are threatened are the guys who are just stubborn. They don't want to change. They don't want to learn new technologies. No, we need to embrace this technology because they help us out in our daily lives.
So why are you sharing all this? I mean, there's so much.
Actually, on that wall, he is opening a hub on the 1st of April.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about that. In fact, that's the that would be the course that you can go to. But
Yes.
yes, that's the course you can go to for the day.
Right.
But the question that I have for you, John, if you were to be given an opportunity to host a radio show, what do you think needs to be shared in order to ignite and provoke organized interest
in different categories? Okay, let's come back to the whole Bitcoin and blockchain thing. All right, so people need to be educated about money.
Right.
We all need to understand what money is.
Financial literacy.
That's it. With especially as a black people. Look, my dad is an entrepreneur. Okay, and he's 68 years old now, or 69, and I've gone at his school. That's exactly where I studied. He's a great entrepreneur, but who has made so many mistakes along the line, especially in his 40s. But my dad never taught me anything about money. My dad never taught me anything about business, and school never did that to me. But I definitely have the traits of the entrepreneur. I suppose I get that from my dad, right? But today we live in a world whereby, because of my drive for success, my passion, my hunger for success, I am so obsessed about success that not only have I made my own mistakes, pretty much, but I had to come out and learn new ways. I had to go and figure out things by engaging with those who are highly successful, for me to be able to realize, you know what, there's better ways of doing things today. We don't learn at university how to create a business. We don't learn at university how to save money. We learn how to go and work for people. That's what it is. I do believe today, if I were to host a show, I'd be like, you know what, I need to teach you about the traits and the skills of an entrepreneur. What I do believe an entrepreneur should have, and I will explain just now. I will teach you about money. I will teach you about investing, and I will teach you about creating businesses. Those are the things, utilizing technology, okay? Leveraging the 4IR, leveraging technology, leveraging the internet, leveraging the knowledge today. Information knowledge is a great industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry. I've met people in the US who are paid $2 million every single month just by selling information.
That's great. Do you know anyone in the industry currently who's doing that? Is this any maybe radio show, or maybe any specific person in the industry who is doing
Globally
that?
or locally?
Locally would work better.
Locally, look, my man Vusi Temekwayo is doing some things. Although I've had my fair share of criticism with the man. Apologies, Vusi. I know I'm meeting you next week, Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, I'm meeting you on Tuesday next week at 10:30 to discuss some things. But he's a great guy.
Okay.
But
you say he's the shining star.
He's a shining star. He's into a certain area, really promoting entrepreneurs and training them. That's why he hosts these master classes. He's a great guy. Other people, look, there's this guy Lebu Gunguluza.
He'll be actually on the show.
I think he's pushing some great agenda. He's actually he's like in the 4IR. This dude is like, you know,
yes,
he's right there.
He just wrote a book actually on
exactly.
on the 4IR.
He and somebody else.
Yes, it's a
and quite a few other people as well. But internationally, geez, I know quite a few guys, and I've learned a lot from them. That I'm able today to blend what these guys do overseas with also what our guys in Africa expect for us to be able to provide information
to meet halfway.
Exactly, to meet halfway.
Okay.
Because the way we consume information is not necessarily the same way that an American guy would actually consume information.
Definitely. Ecosystems are different.
Exactly. Those guys believe so much in technology that they're able to do these things even on the Zoom call. But here, people are like, Zoom. Well, no, I want to see this guy. I want to see him face to face.
I'm literally one of those people. I think Princess has a question.
Since you've been around an international platform,
right,
and experiences, how far then are we as Africans in terms of technological advances compared to your first world countries?
Wow, we're still far ahead. To be quite honest, although we're making great waves,
Okay.
A lot of people still don't quite believe in technology or understand technology pretty well. Okay, so look, I know that in South Africa is always the benchmark when it comes to
Africa.
in Africa, right? But then you have great penetration of the internet in Kenya. Nigeria is pretty much advanced. As a matter of fact, I'm pleasantly surprised to see that, well, according to me, Nigeria
Okay.
has a great cryptocurrency community
Oh wow.
as opposed to South Africa. Those are my viewpoints. I've been to Nigeria and I was pretty much amazed.
But what would
These
you
guys
think-
are all over.
What do you think the problem is, though? Do you think it goes back to
Let
government?
me tell you something.
Or does it? Okay.
In South Africa, people are hungry. People are looking for ways to make money. That's all.
Yes. True.
Quickest ways to make money. Very few people are very few people are looking for ways, especially in the tech space, to be creative on solving problems, creating these new technologies. Very few people are doing this in South Africa. In Nigeria, it's the other way around. That's my viewpoint. In Kenya as well.
All right.
These guys are creating. In fact, in Nigeria, these guys are having great conversation with the government and government agencies.
Yes.
They're talking to them face to face. They're raising their voices. I haven't seen in South Africa anybody raising their voice talking about technology in South Africa.
Not so long ago,
Especially on
though,
the Bitcoin
the president does seem to be on the 4IR wagon. He, like
Well-
in all his speeches, he
No, I mean,
always
he is
mentions
a
it.
businessman.
Yeah, he-
I mean,
You know, I'm sure he
there
understands.
is a different
the
level of
importance.
understanding because now that's the problem is that a bureaucrat and then and a business person
Right.
Those are
do
different.
never really
Yes,
understand
yes.
each other.
So
because now
he does come from
he
a.
encompasses because now he is a businessman, he's a politician,
Right.
he's a unionist, so he encompasses the three legs of this country.
Right.
So he understands. But now
He must be a superhuman. This president. This president is a super
but
being.
he said it
No,
on all
but- but-
platforms.
but I
But
think-
then
I think
why
you're right.
are we behind? Why are we falling behind? If we've got such an understanding president.
Look, the rate of adoption is different. I think South Africa has many other problems than to try and really foster adoption when it comes to technology on the 4IR. I mean, mostly it will be bigger organizations, right? Your corporate organization who will actually push that agenda forward.
Okay.
To be quite honest, it will be, except the tech entrepreneurs will be then revolutionary in creating things. But we have another problem in South Africa. What is the problem? Tech entrepreneurs in South Africa aren't able to meet the funding requirement.
Always.
yeah.
That's the other
Always.
problem.
That's
And
true.
Huge problem.
But
But
then
we've
that's
got departments that are supposedly there to fund.
but then they don't
entrepreneurs.
understand
Let
the
me
technology. How do you
let me
find
tell
something
you
you
let
don't
me tell you one
understand
thing.
how it's going to make you money?
And here's the thing, and this is me as a non-South African who's lived in this country for about 18 years. My single request to all my fellow South African entrepreneurs is this: do not necessarily rely
Don't rely on
government.
Don't rely on.
Don't rely on them.
That's a very good
Money
advice.
is just an idea.
Right.
The moment you
Okay.
understand what money is, just as an idea, and you are able to quantify all your ideas, trust me, you will be able to create some of the most amazing things ever. I started my business with no money. I grew my business without any money from the banks or from a funder. When I say founder, somebody who would actually give me funding. Not a founder, but a
Funder.
a donor. Let me put it that way. I'm thinking in French now. But I mean, look, every single time that I went down,
Yeah.
my ideas always prevailed. And I thought, okay, out of what I have right now, what can I do to create money?
Right.
Not what can I do to go and get money from the bank? No, because here's the thing. You guys are three, right?
Yes.
Okay. Assume, I'm going to give you an example right now as an exercise, okay? Assume you all make 100,000 rand a month. Assume that.
All right.
Assume. And you are able to save 50 grand a month.
Okay.
Okay? Now here I come. I've got a great idea. I've got an idea. I have the entrepreneur bug in me. and I just know exactly how to raise my pitch so that you guys can actually invest with me.
Mm.
So what do? And I come to the three of you. I pitch the idea in such a way that it is compelling enough for you to be able to invest with me. All I need from you is 25,000 rand each.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you and I have previously spent so much money on things that do not bring us money back.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you may have spent, I don't know, 10 grand on a couple of bags of Gucci,
Mm-hmm.
or you may have spent 5 grand at a Taboo buying a couple bottles of champagne.
Mm-hmm.
All of those are expenses that definitely will not bring you money back.
True.
Now, here I am, and I come in with a very compelling idea, showing you numbers. Entrepreneurs need to know the numbers.
Yes. always.
Showing you numbers in such a way that, you know what, all you see, and I will do comparison. If you keep your money in the bank, that money is never going to attract an interest in you. Well, if it does, it's very
Probably
minimal.
6%
All
per
right?
annum.
6%
What,
per
6 to 8
6% per annum.
The country?
But I've ran my numbers so well that I know if you guys give me 25,000 rand each, and I'm looking to raise 75 grand, and within a year I can actually turn 75k into 500,000 rand, and I say, you know what, in return, I give you back, for example, 25% of your money. That would be a compelling idea for you to do.
Definitely.
And I run this idea past you, and you're like, wow, John, how did you come up with that idea? Well, I have the idea. I've run my numbers. I've done a few tests here and there. All I need is your money. In fact, you have my money. No, that's exactly. I'm gonna start by telling you, you guys have my money.
Give me my money.
And how do you have my money? All you gotta do is invest in this idea, because that's the money I need for me to be able to turn 75k
Give
into
me
half a
back
million.
your money.
And in the end, I pay you back your money with 25% plus, which the bank is never gonna do.
So we definitely, I think, on the question of if you were given a 30-minute slot, what topics would come up? What
Yes.
conversation would John tackle? I think there's so much that can be
Yes,
unpacked.
definitely.
So, John, do you belong to any associations?
What kind of association?
I mean, within the work that you do.
The blockchain.
Within the blockchain association, yes, there is the UABA, the United Africa Blockchain Association, that I'm
Right.
actually a part of.
Uh-huh.
It's a brilliant association whose chairman is Yaliwe. What's the surname again? I forgot Yaliwe.
Okay.
If you hear me, she's a wonderful lady from Zambia who actually heads that particular association.
Okay.
She's amazing in terms of the things she's been able to accomplish in South Africa and
Right.
in Africa in
Oh,
the
okay.
blockchain space as a woman. And yeah, that's pretty much it
Yes,
at the moment.
Okay.
And
So
some other
why I'm asking is
association
we're putting together an association of people in the IT
Okay.
who share a common belief
Right.
that radio can be a vehicle for accelerating business opportunities.
Right.
Is this something that would interest you in being part of?
Absolutely. I love sharing knowledge. I love empowering entrepreneurs. I'm on the verge at the
Right.
moment of creating 100 entrepreneurs in the next 5 years.
Okay.
With the intention really to make them millionaires. When I say
So
millionaires,
can we
yeah,
document that?
absolutely.
Every entrepreneur that comes through until
In fact,
we get to
let me
100.
let me tell you one thing. So all of you here sitting at this table
Yes.
have the unique task to making sure the John Lombella brand reaches out by the end of the year on the Forbes magazine on the cover page. That's my agenda for this particular year. So
That's a nice
I'm doing
challenge.
so many things
I love
in
it.
Africa, pretty much, and around the world. Over the last 5 years, I've created a tremendous network. In April, I'm launching an incubation program or hub
Yes, tell us
with
more
my
about
partners
that.
from Italy. They're supporting our initiatives. We have banking solution on the blockchain. We have pretty much a lot of solution on the blockchain, but the idea is to create entrepreneurs in this particular space that they can, whatever ideas they have, we can actually teach them exactly how to become successful by creating these different apps and how to profit from the market as well, be it as a trader, as an investor, as a developer, or as any type of participant in our ecosystem. So those are the things I'm actually bringing in, and yeah, also helping governments, namely my own country, the new president. I'm pushing agendas to make sure that he has the funding necessary to carry out his agenda. It's part of it's one of my biggest goals for this particular year, which I will be talking about in Africa, and I'm keen to do that this in South Africa, in Nigeria. And I'm meeting Vulshi next week to discuss a few things about it as
Right.
well. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome stuff. So looking forward to a whole lot of conversations with John. So Matshego, you've got John now as number 4.
As number 4 of my
yes, of the list.
Of my
I'm
list.
number 3.
Yeah. Oh, you're number 3.
Yeah, it was you, Mr. M, me,
You, and
now
John.
John.
Of
Number
joining
5.
your
Yes.
Of creating
This
beautiful. That's fine.
This association of people with shared understanding.
Great.
Where we share stories, IT stories,
Yeah.
where we get engaging with individuals that are within this space,
Right.
so that we can sort of disseminate information, get to educate the masses, and by so doing, we use a radio as a vehicle to reach out to a whole lot of other people.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Awesome stuff.
Well, guys, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for
So
coming, John.
much
It's impossible to
information.
cover everything in
It
1 hour.
is,
Really.
like,
And that's why I
literally-
said 2
Yeah.
days.
We only touched on 3
2
or
days
4
knowledge
things.
and unpack everything with passion, man.
Yeah. No, welcome to the radio family. Welcome to 1873. To our viewers, listeners, thank you so much for joining us. We're back tomorrow, 3 to 6
Thank you
on
very much.
the drive. Otherwise, from the rest of the crew, God bless a jar guide continually. Before I close your mic, last words, Matshego.
Catch us on Friday between 5 and 6, same time. We might have another guest. We'll let you know during the week.
All right, awesome stuff. And ciao, ciao. We out.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.